My name is Ebony Moof, 29 years old. Some betrayals don't begin with a lie, they begin with a favor. A simple request that feels strange enough to make your stomach tighten, but not strange enough to justify a confrontation. At least, that's what happened to me. It started on a Thursday evening while I was standing in my kitchen making pasta. My boyfriend, Derek Lawson, walked in holding his phone. He looked distracted, nervous, like he'd been rehearsing something in his head. "Ebony," he said carefully, "I need the apartment this weekend." I looked up from the stove. "What? This weekend?" "Friday through Sunday." I laughed. Not because it was funny, because I genuinely thought I had misunderstood him. "My apartment?" "Yeah. No." His expression tightened immediately. "Just hear me out. I'm listening. I really need the place." "For what?" He looked away. "I can't tell you." That answer landed like a stone in my chest. "You can't tell me?" "It's complicated." "Then uncomplicate it." He sighed heavily. "Please don't ask questions." The words echoed in my head. Don't ask questions. Not please trust me. Not I'll explain later. Just don't ask questions. Like I was supposed to shut off my brain and hand him the keys to my life. I folded my arms. "Derek, you're asking me to leave my own apartment for 3 days. I know, so explain why." "I can't." The room fell silent. For months I'd noticed little things. Phone calls taken in other rooms. Text messages hidden when I walked by. Plans canceled without warning. Smiles appearing on his face whenever certain notifications popped up. Whenever I asked about it, he'd tell me I was overthinking. Maybe I wanted to believe him. Maybe I didn't want to see what was right in front of me. Then he said something that made every alarm bell in my head start screaming. "I'll pay for a hotel." I blinked. "What?" "I'll split the cost." Now I knew something was wrong. Derek never volunteered money. Not for vacations. Not for dinner. Not for gas. Yet suddenly he was willing to spend hundreds of dollars just to get me out of my own apartment. The math wasn't adding up. Still, I forced a smile. Fine. His relief was immediate. Too immediate. "Really? Really?" He stepped forward and kissed my forehead. "Thank you. You're amazing. Amazing." That word stayed with me long after he left. Not because it sounded loving, because it sounded guilty. That night I ordered a security camera. One of those tiny cameras disguised as a charging block. Small enough that nobody would notice it. Connected directly to cloud storage. By Thursday afternoon it arrived. I tested it repeatedly. The camera covered the front door, the couch, the kitchen, most of the living room. Perfect. Friday came. Derek practically helped me carry my overnight bag downstairs. His excitement was impossible to miss. He kept checking his phone, kept smiling, kept looking at the clock. When I finally drove away, I didn't head toward a hotel. I drove to my friend Tasha's apartment. The moment I arrived, I opened the camera feed. For several hours, nothing happened. Derek ordered food, watched television, scrolled through social media. Normal behavior. The longer I watched, the more ridiculous I felt. Maybe I was paranoid. Maybe I was sabotaging my own relationship. Maybe Derek really did need privacy for some harmless reason. I was actually considering turning the camera off when the front door opened. A woman walked inside. Everything inside me froze. Derek stood immediately. No surprise, no confusion, no hesitation. He crossed the room and kissed her. Not the kind of kiss friends share. Not the kind of kiss that could be explained away. A real kiss. An intimate kiss. The kind that comes from practice. The kind that comes from history. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I might be sick. The woman laughed as she wrapped her arms around him. He pulled her closer. Inside my apartment. Inside my living room. Inside the home I had worked years to build. I stared at my phone screen, unable to breathe. The woman was beautiful, confident, comfortable. Far too comfortable, as if she'd been there before. Candles appeared, wine appeared. Music started playing. They settled onto my couch like a couple enjoying a romantic weekend getaway. Fragments of conversation drifted through the camera microphone. Finally have the place to ourselves. Tired of sneaking around, worth the wait. Every sentence felt like another knife. I wanted to stop watching, but I couldn't, because now I needed proof. Not suspicions, not feelings. Proof. The next morning, they were still there, making breakfast together, laughing, teasing each other, acting like they belonged together. Then something caught my attention. The woman reached for a coffee mug. A diamond engagement ring flashed under the kitchen lights. I leaned closer to my screen. My heart skipped a beat. She wasn't just helping Derek cheat. She was engaged. Someone else was being betrayed too. Someone who probably had no idea what was happening. I started taking screenshots immediately. Dozens of them. Her face. The ring. The timestamps. Everything. Then I began digging. Hours later, I finally found her. Vanessa Reed. And finding Vanessa led me directly to her fiancé, Olivia Carter. Olivia's social media profile was public. Engagement photos, wedding plans, vacation pictures, happy captions, future dreams. Everything looked perfect. Everything was a lie. I stared at one photograph for a long time. Olivia was smiling at Vanessa with complete trust, the kind of trust that only exists when you believe someone loves you. I remembered how that felt, and suddenly my decision became easy. I wasn't going to stay silent. I wasn't going to let another woman walk blindly into a marriage built on deception. That afternoon, I downloaded the clearest clips. The front door arrival. The kiss. Breakfast together. Every timestamp visible. Every detail undeniable. Then I opened my laptop, created a folder, attached the videos, and began typing a message to Olivia. A message that would destroy every secret Derek and Vanessa thought they had hidden. And by the time I pressed send, I had no idea I was starting a chain reaction that would eventually end with police reports, restraining orders, arrests, and the complete collapse of both their lives. I stared at the screen for nearly 10 minutes before sending the message. Once I did, there was no taking it back, no second guessing, no undo button. I attached the videos, screenshots, and timestamps. Then I wrote, "I'm sorry to be the person telling you this. I've been dating Derek Lawson for over a year. This footage was recorded in my apartment this weekend, after he asked me to leave without explanation. I believe you deserve to know the truth about your fiancé." I hit send. Then I turned off my phone. For the first time all weekend, I slept. Not well, but enough. Sunday afternoon, I switched my phone back on. The explosion had already started. 23 missed calls, 14 voicemails, 37 text messages, every single one from Derek. The first messages sounded worried. "Where are you? Please call me. Something happened." But as I scrolled further, the tone changed. "Why are you ignoring me? This isn't funny. Answer your phone right now." Interesting. Very interesting. I opened the camera feed. Derek was pacing around my apartment. His face was pale. Vanessa was there too. Both were glued to their phones. Both looked terrified. I already knew why. Olivia had seen the videos. The truth had landed. And suddenly their secret wasn't secret anymore. Monday morning, I returned home. The moment I walked through the door, I smelled someone else's perfume. My stomach twisted. The couch, the kitchen, the hallway, every room felt contaminated. Like strangers had broken into my life and left fingerprints everywhere. I spent the next hour gathering Derek's belongings. Clothes, shoes, toiletries, gaming equipment. Everything. I packed it all into boxes and stacked them beside the door. Then I left work early and had the locks changed. The locksmith finished around 4 o'clock. At 6:15, Derek arrived. His key didn't work. I watched through the peephole as confusion spread across his face. Then came the knocking. A few seconds later, my phone rang. I answered. My key isn't working. I know. A long pause followed. You changed the locks? Yes. What the hell, Ebony? Your stuff is downstairs. Can we talk first? No. We need to discuss this. There's nothing to discuss. Silence. Then his voice became cautious. Did you go through my phone? I almost laughed. No. Another pause. Then came the question that confirmed everything. Then how do you know? There it was. Not denial, not confusion, not innocence. How do you know? Because guilty people skip straight to damage control. Security camera, I said. My apartment. My camera. The silence that followed lasted nearly 10 seconds. When Derek finally spoke, his voice sounded shaky. You recorded us? Yes. That's insane. You used my apartment to cheat on me. You're violating my privacy. I actually laughed. My privacy? You turned my home into your affair headquarters. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. It wasn't what it looked like. A kiss. Candles. Wine. Spending the entire weekend together. My voice hardened. Looked exactly like what it was. Then he asked the question I had been waiting for. You sent it to Olivia, didn't you? Yes. A sharp inhale. Almost like he had been punched. Do you have any idea what you've done? Absolutely. You ruined everything. No. I stared through the peephole at the man I'd once imagined building a future with. You ruined everything. The call ended. A few minutes later, I carried his boxes downstairs. He wasn't alone. His sister stood beside him. The moment she saw me, she exploded. You're unbelievable. I set the boxes down. Hello to you too. What kind of psycho secretly records people? The kind who owns the apartment. Derek rubbed his face. Ebony, please. No. His sister stepped forward. You could have handled this privately. I folded my arms. Olivia deserved the truth. That wasn't your decision to make. Actually, it was. Derek's eyes filled with frustration. You destroyed my relationship. I stared at him. The audacity was breathtaking. You brought another woman into my apartment. It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I laughed. How exactly was it supposed to happen? Neither of them answered. Because there was no answer, only consequences. I handed over the final box. Then I turned around and walked back inside. That night, I blocked both of them. Every number, every social account, everything. 3 days later, an email arrived. It was from Olivia. The subject line simply read, "Thank you." My chest tightened as I opened it. I know that couldn't have been easy. I ended the engagement the same day. I'm devastated. But I'd rather know the truth now than after a wedding. You saved me from making the biggest mistake of my life. I read the message twice. Then a third time. Finally, I replied, I'm sorry you had to find out this way. Nobody deserves that. She responded within an hour. Neither do you. For the first time since everything happened, I felt something unexpected. Not revenge. Not satisfaction. Validation. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I wasn't controlling. I had been right. Unfortunately, Derek and Vanessa weren't finished. A week later, Vanessa showed up at my building. Security called me downstairs. There's a woman demanding to see you. No, apparently. She began screaming in the lobby, calling me obsessive, calling me unstable, claiming I'd ruined her life. Security escorted her out. Later that night, an email arrived from Derek, nearly 5 pages long, half apology, half blame. He admitted the affair had lasted 6 months. 6 months. While sleeping beside me, while making plans with me, while telling me he loved me. Then came the part that almost made me laugh. According to Derek, I had betrayed his trust by installing a camera in my own apartment. I closed the email, deleted it. and never responded, because some people will do anything to avoid admitting they're the villain of their own story, even when the evidence is staring them directly in the face. After Derek's email, I expected the drama to fade. I was wrong. If anything, it got worse. A few days later, I received an email from someone claiming to be an attorney. The message demanded that I immediately delete all footage, stop discussing the affair, and cease what they called harassment against their clients. The email looked suspicious. The sender used a generic Gmail address. The law firm's logo appeared blurry. Even the formatting looked amateur. I forwarded everything to my cousin Renee, a real attorney. She called me 10 minutes later, laughing. "Ebony, this is fake. You're sure?" "Positive. Real lawyers don't send legal threats from Gmail. So I ignore it?" "Absolutely. That should have been the end of it. Instead, it became the beginning of something far worse. A week later, I got called to the lobby of my office building. Security informed me someone was demanding to see me. When I arrived downstairs, Derek was waiting. His appearance shocked me. He looked exhausted, unshaven, angry, like someone who hadn't slept in days. The moment he saw me, he stood. "We need to talk." "No, you destroyed my life." I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, because hearing those words from him felt absurd. "You destroyed your own life. You sent those videos." "I told the truth. My engagement is over." I stared at him. "Good." His face darkened immediately. "You think this is funny?" "No." I stepped closer. "I think it's deserved." Security moved closer. Derek pointed at me. "You wanted revenge." "No. I wanted honesty." He opened his mouth to argue, then closed it. Because there was nothing left to say. Eventually, security escorted him outside. I thought that would finally end things. Again, I was wrong. A few days later, Vanessa appeared at my gym. I was running on a treadmill when she walked directly toward me. Her eyes were red, her expression furious. "We need closure." I kept running. "No, you can't ignore me forever." "Watch me." Her voice rose immediately. "You ruined everything." That got the attention of everyone nearby. Several people turned to look. A staff member approached. "Is there a problem?" Vanessa pointed at me dramatically. "He secretly recorded us and destroyed my relationship." I stepped off the treadmill, then calmly explained everything. The apartment, the affair, the evidence, the engagement, the lies. The employee listened quietly, then turned toward Vanessa. "Ma'am, you need to leave." Her jaw dropped. "What?" "You're harassing a member." The look she gave me before leaving could have melted steel. Pure hatred. Pure blame. Still zero accountability. That night I came home and found a handwritten note taped to my door. Her handwriting. I recognized it from the birthday card she'd once given Derek. The note accused me of cruelty, accused me of ruining lives, accused me of destroying true love. I tore it into pieces, then threw it in the trash. The following week, things became serious. My building manager called. "Ebony, we've got a problem." My stomach dropped. What happened? "Vanessa has been trying to enter the building. Apparently she'd shown up multiple times. Claimed she still lived there. Claimed she needed belongings. Claimed I was withholding property. Fortunately, security had records showing I'd already returned everything." The manager sighed. "If she comes back again, we're calling the police." I thanked him and hung up. 2 days later, I came home from work. Something felt wrong immediately. My apartment door wasn't fully closed, just slightly open. Maybe an inch, but enough. My pulse exploded. I called security. Together we entered the apartment. Nothing appeared stolen, yet everything looked disturbed. Drawers half open, closet doors moved, paperwork shifted. Someone had been inside. Security reviewed building footage. The answer came quickly. Vanessa. She had followed another resident through the entrance. Cameras captured everything, including her entering my floor. The police were called. Reports were filed. Statements were taken. And for the first time, this stopped being relationship drama. It became a legal matter. The following week, I filed for a restraining order. Vanessa arrived at court with her mother and the same fake attorney who had emailed me. The hearing lasted less than an hour. The judge reviewed everything: the affair footage, the lobby incident, the gym confrontation, the handwritten note, the security recordings, the police report, the unauthorized entry. By the end, the judge looked unimpressed, very unimpressed. When the fake attorney tried speaking, the judge requested his bar number. He didn't have one. The courtroom became very quiet. The judge wasn't amused. Then came the ruling. 1-year restraining order. No contact. No approaching my workplace. No entering my building. No communication through third parties. Violation would result in arrest. Vanessa immediately started crying. Her mother started yelling. The bailiff escorted both of them out. I should have felt victorious. Mostly I felt exhausted. Weeks passed. Silence finally arrived. Then one afternoon a package appeared at my office. No return address, no sender, only a flash drive. Inside was security footage from a coffee shop. The video showed Derek and Vanessa sitting together, arguing, screaming, blaming each other. The audio was crystal clear. "You promised you'd leave her for me," Vanessa shouted. "I never promised that," Derek snapped. "You said you loved me." I said what I needed to say. The look on her face was devastating. Not because I felt sorry for her, because for the first time, she was experiencing the same betrayal she'd helped create. Eventually, she threw her coffee at him and stormed away. The video ended. I never learned who sent it. Maybe Olivia. Maybe a friend. Maybe a stranger. I didn't care, because watching them destroy each other felt like the final chapter. 3 months later, the situation was officially over. Vanessa violated the restraining order once by having her sister contact me. I reported it. She spent a night in jail. After that, the silence became permanent. Olivia later informed me that Derek had lost his job. Apparently, the affair had become office gossip. Combined with declining performance, his company finally let him go. As for Olivia, she moved on. Started dating someone new. Someone honest, someone normal, someone who didn't live a double life. I was genuinely happy for her. As for me, I replaced my couch, bought new furniture, changed the locks again, installed another visible security camera near the front door. Not because I was afraid, because I was wiser. Looking back, people still ask whether sending those videos was the right thing to do. My answer never changes. Yes, because Olivia deserved the truth, because secrets thrive in darkness, and because all I really did was turn on the lights. Everything that happened afterward came from choices Derek and Vanessa made themselves. I didn't destroy their lives. I simply refused to protect their lies.